August 30th, 2020. An unusual report came into the LAX Air Traffic Control Tower in Los Angeles, United States. Tower, American 1997, we just passed a guy in a jetpack, off the left side, maybe 300 yards or so, about our altitude. It was an unbelievable radio transmission sent by a pilot of American Airlines Flight 1997 from Philadelphia, who spotted someone with a personal flying device floating in the sky. The air traffic controllers initially thought that the pilot mistook a weather balloon for a person in a jetpack. However, it did not take long until another radio transmission came in. We just saw the guy passing by us in the jetpack. A pilot of SkyWest Airlines spotted the exact same thing and reported it to the control tower. Two different airline pilots witnessed the guy in a jetpack over the same time period. In response to the reports, the control tower instructed the unknown object to send a warning sign. Subsequently, the Federal Aviation Administration handed over the reports to the Los Angeles Police Department, and a police investigation was immediately conducted. The police had nothing but the reports sent by the two pilots. Without photos and videos, it was difficult for them to figure out the details, and so the investigation was fruitless. In October 2020, 2 months later, a pilot of China Airlines Flight 006 from Taipei, Taiwan, sent an urgent radio transmission to the LAX tower saying, "We just saw a bright object at 6,000. We saw a flying object like a flight suit jetpack at 6,000. The air traffic controllers believed that the pilot was talking about the same guy in a jetpack as last time. According to the further investigation conducted by the FAA, the object was wearing some sort of shiny silver jetpack, flying stably in the sky at a constant speed. As a result, this unknown object spotted flying over LA earned the name Jetpack Man. Convinced that the pilots were not hallucinating, the FAA handed over the additional data and information to the FBI, requesting an investigation. Although the FBI immediately conducted what was requested of them, they could not secure any significant physical evidence or additional testimony. This is because there were no other eyewitnesses aside from the pilots who radioed the LAX tower at the time. There were also no additional reports of the Jetpack Man's takeoff or landing. The public said that the Jetpack Man might be a genius inventor or even a mad scientist. It is said that the maximum flight time of jetpacks on today's market is 10 minutes. Even in terms of physical time alone, flying alone in a jetpack at 6,000 feet or 1,800 meters would not make sense. It was indeed something that far exceeded today's technology. Some argued that it was a secret military weapon test, but it was all baseless rumors and nothing was clear. Considering the fact that 3 different airline pilots made statements about a jetpack, it seemed clear that it was a person flying in the sky by using some sort of propulsion system. However, the FBI announced that the Jetpack Man might have been a balloon, and that the culprit was a 2-meter Jack Skellington balloon sold in an event balloon shop called Insta Balloon. Jack Skellington, the main protagonist of the Tim Burton movie The Nightmare Before Christmas, is a skeleton-shaped character with a human-like appearance. Considering the size and durability of the Jack Skellington balloon, the FBI determined that it could have gone up to an altitude of 2,100 meters, meaning that the Jetpack Man spotted by the pilots was highly likely to be a balloon. This, however, has raised questions among the public. People argued that there was no way the balloon could have been mistaken as a jetpack, as it had slender limbs and was much taller than an ordinary adult male, and that the pilots would have noticed that it was not a person in the first place. Then again, the idea of it being a human-looking event balloon that somehow ended up in the sky and was spotted by pilots was more convincing than mad genius inventor flying in a handmade jetpack at an altitude of 1,800 meters. With this, the Jetpack Man incident seemed to have come to an end. Or so we thought. Until December, 2 months later, the Jetpack Man was spotted once again. This third sighting became a hot topic. It was introduced to media outlets all over the world and quickly became a worldwide controversial issue as well. The Jetpack Man was caught on camera for the first time ever. While conducting flight training near Catalina Island, south of LA, a pilot and flight instructor from Sling Pilot Academy spotted a flying object at 900 meters. One look and the pilot immediately noticed that it was the Jetpack Man, which was a controversy at the time. They did not forget to film the Jetpack Man in action. The video was later uploaded on YouTube and Instagram. Strangely, the Jetpack Man in the video looked very different from the Jack Skellington balloon mentioned by the FBI. His limbs were not as slender, and he did not look more than 2 meters tall. Moreover, he actually had a propulsion system, a jetpack on his back as reported by the pilots. Once again, this raised questions among the public, and experts began to analyze the video. The first thing these experts noticed was the jetpack on his back. It was shaped like a metal backpack. Although it was certainly shaped like a jetpack as well, there was something odd about it. In the video, we cannot see any traces of the exhaust coming out of the jetpack. Jetpacks on the market use kerosene as fuel, and most of the time, we are also required to wear turbo engine equipment on our hands and feet, in addition to the main part on our backs. This all means that the emission of gas or heat could be seen even from a long distance, which is something we could not find in the video. Journalist Aaron McCarthy, who covered the incident, raised another question, because looking at current technology, even the most advanced jetpack would only have a maximum flight time of approximately 10 minutes. But in the video, the Jetpack Man did not look like he was about to land, and he seemed to have been flying for quite a long time. In addition, the pilot who spotted him testified that he continued to fly until he was out of sight, and he was filmed while flying 32 kilometers away from the coast. If he had flown from land, it would have been a new concept of flying objects, far beyond modern science and technology. As it was the very first video of the Jetpack Man, various experts were involved in analyzing it. First, the possibility of the Jetpack Man being a weather observation instrument, as presumed in the very beginning, as it could have been a somehow deflated weather balloon drifting along in the air current. Accordingly, Dr. Deanna Hentz, an atmospheric sciences professor, used the speed of the object as an example. In order to move sideways at high speed, as shown in the video, strong wind blown from a very high altitude must be present. It was confirmed that the wind on that day was extremely calm. By the time the Jetpack Man was spotted, the wind speed at that altitude was 19 kilometers per hour or slower, meaning that it could not possibly move an object without a propulsion system at such a constant high speed. Based on test results, Dr. Hentz predicted that the sky would have been very calm that day. Another hypothesis is that the Jetpack Man was a giant drone. Despite being a frequently suggested hypothesis, military aviation expert Tim McMillan, who had watched the video himself, concluded that the Jetpack Man was, in fact, not a drone. It was not a quadcopter-type drone that is often used in various facilities. And even if it was a military drone or an industrial drone, no wings or rotors were seen in the video. All these hypotheses aside, there were also many experts who consider the Jetpack Man an actual person. Astrophysicist Akim Alusai stated that the Jetpack Man is highly likely to be a real person. He cited a 2016 prototype invented by a jetpack manufacturer in New Zealand, which had a history of successfully flying at an altitude of 914 meters for a short period of time. Unfortunately, the jetpack, an integration of modern technology, was extremely large in size due to the engine system. Rather than a jetpack, it was more like a light aircraft, weighing almost 200 kilograms with the fuel excluded. Based on this, Alusai argued that it could be an actual jetpack made by a particular group or even individual using advanced technology. He also added that from the video, it is difficult to figure out what kind of technology was used for the jetpack, as the Jetpack Man did not appear to have turbo engines on his arms and legs. He only had a small metal propulsion system on his back, and was presumed to have been flying for a very long time. This leads us to question, could the Jetpack Man be an amateur genius inventor? Since then, the Jetpack Man was nowhere to be seen for months. Following the latest sighting, the FBI resumed their investigation on the Jetpack Man. This means if the Jetpack Man was really a person, it is only natural that he did not show up. Later, in July 2021, the Jetpack Man was spotted yet one more time. A Boeing 747 pilot spotted the Jetpack Man at 1,500 meters, about 24 kilometers away from the coast of California, and reported it to the LAX tower. Unlike the others, this pilot called him Iron Man, and the radio transmission became a hot topic as it was made public.
Did you see the UFO?
We were looking, but we did not see Iron Man.
Use caution, there was a Jetman reported just north of Gate C.
All right, we're looking for the Iron Man.
The Jetpack Man has not been seen since then. It is now a general opinion in the U.S. that the Jetpack Man is an actual person. Although his identity is yet to be revealed, people think of him as an eccentric genius inventor, just like Tony Stark from the movie Iron Man. It is said that he is also being called Iron Man among pilots in LA. The American Jetpack Man, who was first spotted 2 years ago, attracting worldwide attention. Who is he, and how could he possibly invent such an advanced innovation that goes beyond our current technology? This has been Strange Night.